In this video, we're going to show you the final product, these pom-poms, and then we're going to describe how we created them. So what we started with is in this case, we're going to call this a curtain, and it has its own fabric here in the property, in the object browser. Then we created a trim, which is a traditional trim that a pom-pom would be attached with. This pom-pom trim has a texture, a normal map, and a displacement map. The displacement map in this case is set to 1 millimeter. Both the curtain and the trim and also the string are set with the same color. The string is a very, very thin pattern piece that has an additional thickness to it which allows it to look like a string, and it has a very, very low particle distance so that there's no issues with the mesh pulling or being pulled through another mesh. The string is longer than the trim piece, and we then used the tacks to tack the quote-unquote string at specific intervals to the trim. This allows us to get this hang here. So the more or less that you would want this to hang would be the difference in the distance on the string and the length of the string itself. Okay? The pom-poms themselves are buttons. Okay? This button here, we used a round button, which we were then able to make a specific width and thickness, and even the weight so that it did hang and did pull the string. The difference here is that what we did is that we changed the material to fur. Then what we did is we changed the length of the fur and the thickness of the fur. We removed any bend or taper. We made the density of the fur as high as it would go. We set the gravity, the force to 10, the vectors to 1. We removed any curl, and then we left a very little bit of variance in places here so that we would get some difference in thickness and in length and a little bit of gravity. Now, when all those things are put together, we come up with something like this. So here's our curtain, here's our trim, here's our string. These two have displacement maps on there, and there is our pom-pom, which is made of fur. Now, it must be noted that the color of the pom-pom, which is here, is a different color pink than the other pieces. And that is because of the natural fur parameters in Clo. These have natural hair parameters, melanin and phenomelanin, that are going to affect the color that goes in there. So you will need to work with the pom-pom color to make it visually look as though it matches to the trim and the curtain. From there, what we have, if we simulate these, we can move these, and these will fall and hang as desired, however the piece is moved. So if you were to put it on the drape of a curtain or around a pillow, it would hang naturally. These cannot be exported as OBJs because the fur effect will not export as you see it here in the render window. You would only be able to use these as is and render these here in Clo. You could, however, remove the curtain itself and export the rest of the document as a garment, and then import into the project that you would like to place it on and modify it to your desired effect.